You think it's over, but it's not. There's an absence that remains alive in someone. This person still carries you as if you're part of their very being, as if removing you from within would be a violence they cannot allow themselves to commit. So they don't remove you, they just learn to hide it. It's easy to think it's in the past, but time doesn't fix everything. And this person feels it from the first thought of the day to the last sigh of the night. The emptiness you left has spread throughout the spaces. It has taken over the silences. It has turned into a noise that only this person can hear. And it's hard to explain because no one notices, but the pain is still there, disguised in laughter, hidden in commitments. Kept too much inside, this person tries to move on, tries to fill the void, tries not to look back. But there are days when their heart feels like it's going to stop in the middle of their chest. Have you ever felt that? That invisible weight that seems to be more than just longing. It's almost like a lack of breath. It's an absence that has a scent, that has a color, that has your name. This person hasn't forgotten. It doesn't matter how much time has passed. It doesn't matter how much everything has changed. You're still there, in the places where no one else goes, in the memories that refuse to obey, in the dreams that still appear out of nowhere and hurt. There's a pain that hasn't turned to the past, and it stays alive because something within still recognizes it was real. This person feels that, even without saying it, even without showing it, even without asking for anything. They just feel, and they keep it inside, and they live with it. Do you notice? You think it's over, but it's not over. There's a silence that still carries your name. There's a moment that stopped in an instant you may have already forgotten, but this person hasn't. This person still lives in the space between what was and what can no longer be. No one sees, no one perceives, but there's a presence of you that remains there, firm, silent, invisible, but impossible to ignore. This person misses you with their bones, with their skin, with their whole body. It's not a common kind of longing. It's not a memory. It's an absence carved deep. It's pain scheduled for a certain time. It's a silent wait with no voice. You don't hear it, but someone is still calling you in the silence. Someone is still wondering where it all went wrong and why. That person doesn't say anything, doesn't confess, doesn't reveal, but they feel. With every sleepless night, with every song that plays out of nowhere, with every photo that falls from the camera roll like a slap, there's a life that went on, but there's a heart that got stuck on you, and maybe you feel it too. But stay silent, but avoid it, but pretend. That person can't pretend that much. They learn to breathe instinctively, to smile reflexively, to move on for the sake of survival. But moving on isn't forgetting. Surviving isn't overcoming. Do you realize that? They seek you out in details nobody else would think of. In the coffee you used to drink, in the show you started but never finished, in the clothes you liked, in the way you used to say their name. It's subtle but constant, it's invisible, but it screams. That person stopped counting the days since you left, because each day feels the same, and every absence has the same face. Yours. Do you think of them sometimes? They think of you almost all the time, not by choice, but because memory decided you can't be erased. It's not about regret, it's about a bond. The kind that doesn't break just because it's over, the kind that doesn't die just because it's gone. You left a space that no one fills. You created a void that no one can occupy, and that person feels it, with a pain so discreet it even deceives them, but they feel it. There are days they almost believe they've moved on, until the phone vibrates, and it's not you, until the phone rings, and it's not your name, until the heart aches, for no reason, but for all the reasons. That person tried to move on, tried to make room for other stories, tried to like other eyes, tried to allow for other hugs. But everything felt small compared to what you two had. Everything sounded shallow, everything felt forced, because it's not about comparison. It's that no one after you has been able to touch where you touched. It's as simple as that. This person doesn't talk about it, because the world doesn't have time for nostalgia. And no one likes to hear about loves that have been left behind, but it's there. This person keeps you deep inside, in the part where no one touches, and no one will. That's where you still live. You breathe. You're missed. There's no explanation. Because some things can't be explained, they can only be felt. Do you perceive it? Do you sometimes feel that sharp pain in your chest out of nowhere? That longing to go back without knowing where to? That exhaustion that can't be cured by sleep? This person does too. Because it's not just nostalgia. It's a love that was interrupted, but not cancelled. That was cut off, but not ripped away. That was left behind, but never forgotten. And this person doesn't want the past back. They just want to understand why they still carry so much of you. They want to know why they still feel, even when everything seems to have changed. Have you changed? Because this person tried, but couldn't become the same. Not after you, not after what they experienced, not after what they felt. There's a part of them that still exists in the time when you both were together, and it's no use trying to deny it. They know, and so do you. It's that song, that scent, that date, that memory that arrives uninvited and breaks everything again. But this person has already understood. Some pain can't be resolved, only accepted. Some memories can't be dissolved, only settled. Some love can't be erased, only transformed. You're still in them, as a mark, as an echo, as a wound that no longer bleeds, but never fully healed. They've learned to live with it, but haven't moved on. They've learned to hide it, but haven't forgotten. And you? Can you say for sure that it's over? Or does something inside still tremble when you hear their name? Do you feel it? Even without wanting to, even without knowing, even trying to ignore it, you feel it. Because there are bonds that don't die, there are connections that can't be broken, there are stories that linger, even when they end. This person still misses you today, even when they pretend not to, even when they say nothing at all. And there's one detail that you might never notice. They no longer expect you to come back. They just want you to know that it was real, that it hurt, that it still hurts. And there's someone in this world who continues to miss you every day. This longing changes shape. It doesn't disappear. It doesn't dissolve. It can't be explained, but it changes. It becomes quieter, more invisible, and even more dangerous, because no one else notices that it's still there, not even this person, until it hurts again, until it stings for no reason, until the body starts to signal what the soul couldn't verbalize. It lingers in fatigue, in irritation without cause, in the tightness that comes in the middle of the afternoon, in the feeling that something is missing, even when you have everything. This person tries to move on, and they even manage to, but in a strange way, somewhat automatic, somewhat cynical, somewhat sad, because there's a part of them that has given up hoping for something like what you had, and another part that is still waiting, even without admitting it. Do you know what that's like? It's realizing that the world keeps moving, but something in you got left behind, and no matter how far you go, you know exactly the point where you stopped believing, where you stopped giving yourself fully, where you stopped trusting it was there with you. This person has never loved the same way again. They've never given themselves over without fear again. They've never felt at home with someone else again. Because with you it was this: home, breath, peace in the chaos. But it's over. And since then, everything is noise. Do you feel that too? Some people think that moving on means forgetting. But those who lived what you lived know. Moving on is remembering without sinking. It's accepting without questioning. It's breathing, even when the air is thin. This person breathes, but lives with shallow breaths, as if something occupies the space that should be filled by themselves. They smile, but there's always something missing behind the laughter. They allow themselves, but never completely. They connect with others, but you don't give yourself completely, because a part of you is still with them, even if you never know, even if you never find out, or maybe you do know. Maybe you feel it too, because there are nights when everything comes back, even when no one calls, even when you thought you had moved on. It comes back in the scent, in the touch that never repeats, in the absence that bothers without a name. It comes back in the emptiness that no one else can fill, because it's not just anyone. It's this person, that one, the only one who knew what you don't show anyone else, the only one who saw you stripped of your masks, the only one who truly crossed into you. And when someone crosses like that, they never leave completely. They stay, in the form of memory, in the form of absence, in the form of longing or of trauma. But they stay. That person already understands this. They no longer try to push away what they feel. They don't deny, they just keep it. Do you notice this? That person doesn't want back what was. They want peace with what still exists inside. They just want to look back and not feel pain anymore, just gratitude, just good silence. But they haven't gotten there yet. It still hurts. It hurts less, but it still hurts. And the worst part? No one sees. No one knows. Only they do. And maybe you because something between you was never said. It was never truly closed. It lingered in the air, suspended, hidden, but alive. That person doesn't blame you, doesn't wait for you, doesn't expect anything from you, but they feel. They feel the absence of what was. They feel the absence of what could have been. They feel the absence of you, even if they don't want to. Some feelings don't obey time. They don't follow logic. They don't explain themselves. They just live in silence, waiting for the day when they stop hurting. In the meantime, that person lives between what is and what they still carry. So now, this absence starts to change names. It's no longer absence, it's inverted presence. Yes, because there comes a time when you don't expect anymore. You don't wish for a return. You don't want an explanation. You just realize that there's someone who will always be there, even without being present. And this person has already understood that. They no longer fight against the absence. They no longer force themselves to forget. They no longer try to distract themselves, because now they coexist. They coexist with your presence in the midst of simple things. They coexist with your voice that still appears when they need to make an important decision. They coexist with your memory in moments when everything seems to crumble. You are still the thought they don't voice, the name they swallow, the memory they protect. But now, without constant pain. Now, with a strange kind of peace. A peace that doesn't soothe, but settles in, as if saying, yes, that existed, and it was real. This person has accepted it, not as relief, but as truth, as something that no longer needs to be fought against, only acknowledged. Can you imagine that? Someone holding you as part of an internal sanctuary, without resentment, without demands, without weight, just memory, just existence, just that feeling that no one else can provoke. Because no matter how much time has passed, no one after you reached where you reached. You have no idea how strong this is, or maybe you do. Maybe you feel this in other ways. Maybe you notice it when everything falls silent inside. Do you feel it? There are times when this person still finds themselves staring into nothingness, but their body remembers exactly what it was like to be close to you. The skin still responds. The soul still recognizes, but the heart no longer hopes. It just respects. It respects time. It respects the paths each person needed to take. It even respects the absence, because that was a choice too. But this absence has become identity, has become part, has become the way this person learned to love in silence. And no, it's not dependence, it's not illusion, it's not attachment, it's living memory, it's recognition, it's the awareness that some encounters are so powerful that they linger even after everything. This person doesn't want to go back because they're no longer the same, and they know you aren't either, but they hold on to what they lived, not as a prison, but as strength, as a reminder of what one was once capable of feeling, as a piece of one's own history that she will never deny. Do you have that with someone? A name that still lives in you even after everything? A presence that didn't leave even when you closed the door? That person understood what hurt, taught, what remained, shaped, and what didn't return, freed. It wasn't easy. It was a journey filled with silence, tears, and sleepless nights, but it was also made of courage, courage to not erase what was true, courage to continue feeling even when it no longer made sense, courage to carry yourself inside with lightness, without despair, without fear, without pending matters. That person still remembers, but now they no longer cry. Now they are grateful for the intensity, for the truth, for the part of themselves that was born and died in that love. Do you understand what this is? It's looking back and not wanting to erase anything. It's knowing that you don't need to return anymore, but also